I just want to address something about Reform UK since I declared that I would support them and probably think they're going to be the next government in this country. And people have come on and abused me and this, but let's tackle some of the serious questions. Somebody said today in a group I'm in, if there was a general election triggered by the local elections, say next May, where Labour get wiped out and it triggers that general election with 5 MPs, Reform would not be ready to run the country. Well, take that first and foremost. Does that mean you want the Lib Dems, the Greens, or the Tories back in? No. Tories, yes, they've got experience waiting in the wings. The Greens, no. The Greens are in no different position, and yet they're taking votes off Labour right, left, and centre. The Lib Dems, who have they got on their benches that actually served in the coalition government? I don't even know the number myself, but it's a very small number, if at all any. Now, people say no experience in reform. Well, let me tell you this: if you were to get involved with Reform UK around the country, if you actually communicate to people standing to be MPs at the next general election, doing the hard work now, okay, they will have their eyes on a position in government, because what's the point otherwise? Nigel Farage and his other MPs will be looking at people and they will know who could step into certain roles. Now, people talk about no experience. So many reform people have real life experience. They've run companies. They've suffered bankruptcy and got back up on their feet, just like Donald Trump. And the experience they bring, for instance, in my local area, I'm not going to name him, but the MP for my local area, ex-army, ex-police force, he could step into several roles in a reform government. No problem at all. The man has a great deal of knowledge, and when I go to the meetings and listen to him speak, the guy knows stuff. So don't underestimate the people that you don't know. Okay, there are people out there that if the local people vote for them, will bloody well surprise you at the skills that they have. These aren't people that have just stepped out of, I don't know, stacking shelves in Tesco's and want to suddenly become MPs. These are people that have an experience of life. They have an interest in politics. And let me just go back to Labour. How many of those Labour politicians had experience in their departments when Keir Starmer gave them their jobs on the front bench? What experience has David Lammy actually had? What did he learn in 14 years of the Tories? Kendall, Rachel Reeves, any of them, you name any of them that have done an exceptionally good job. I mean, just take the disastrous budget that put VAT on private schools, and over 500 private schools have closed. What an intelligent move that was, wasn't it? And I bet somebody watching this will know somebody that's standing for reform that has spent years in education that would know what is needed. We've got people to stand in for the armed forces, the treasury. We've got all of this within reform. But the thing is, you're listening to people that are scaremongering. You turn the telly on, and the amount of times people say, oh, well, they only got 5 MPs. How could they form a cabinet? Quite easily, the same way that Labour did. You look at who you've got, but whereas reform would be different, they will look at the skills they bring from their past. I'm sorry, but Shabana Mahmood, let's be honest, what experience has she had standing on the streets of London holding a placard saying refugees welcome? That makes her a brilliant, doesn't it, Home Secretary. Yvette Cooper, now what experience has she got to go from Home Secretary to Foreign Secretary? So what, she may have travelled to Benidorm a couple of times on holiday. I'm sorry, but you really are missing the point if you think that reform could not run a government. The things you should be worried about, and I know I'm waffling on now, but the things you should be worrying about is the sleaze campaigns against people and the fact that the BBC especially, but even GB News are starting to do it with their Chris Hope, the political guy. They're asking questions to try and trap Reform MPs. They're trying to put suggestions to the general public that Reform couldn't do this. Take time to listen to them, watch them, go to local Reform meetings, listen to what's out there. Because no matter what these others say, Reform are doing a pretty good job in local councils. And yet, there's a prime example on misquoting. Reform said they would reduce council tax. No, they never. You find me one clip of anybody in Reform saying that. It's not true. What they said they would do is they would go in and save money, and they would try and avoid raising council tax like every other council in the country has done. So let me just say this to you. Reform, are they ready? They're just as ready as Labour were. The trouble is, where we knew Labour politicians because of 14 years in opposition, we don't know the strength and the breadth of the Reform Party in waiting.